All right, hairdresser bestie, welcome back to the Energized Hairdresser. A lovely Thursday evening. I have the pitter patter of rain on my roof, and here we are. Okay, so today we are going to talk about something that might challenge us a little bit more than what we've been taught. And we're going to we're going to talk about movement. So if you are of the same age as I am, you are probably either knocking on perimenopause or in perimenopause, which when anyone talks about perimenopause, it's what our mothers would call going through menopause. Just a little fun fact, menopause is a moment in time where it's been like 1 year since like a whole cycle. Going through menopause or quote perimenopause is the symptoms and all of that. They're the same thing. And the reason why we're hearing about it now is because finally Gen Z was like, I'm miserable. What's going on here? Okay. So if you're of that same age, you have been taught about movement. You're probably hounded about cardio or moving more. And man, the amount of aerobic exercises that I have purchased, gosh, man, what was that one? Like the beach body ones, the 21-day fix, or there for a little while after my twins were born, I really did Pyo. That was fun. All kinds of movement. I remember I have a scar. I have a scar on my eye because when I was in high school, me and my friend were just like lounging around all day and we're like, oh my gosh, let's do some Taibo. If you remember Taibo, then you need to leave me a comment so we can be friends. I jumped up, started doing Taibo with my friend, and I immediately passed out. Got a scar. I had to end my freshman year with stitches. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about something that might be challenging to what we've been taught. We've all been taught more workouts are the answer. Negative. Better recovery and smart workouts are the answer. So let's get into it. If you have ever thought, I stand all day long, but I still feel out of shape, or I probably should be doing more cardio. I just need to push harder. This episode is for you. Okay. So we're going to paint a little picture for you about the salon reality of what you do every day behind the chair. You're on your feet 6, 8, 10 hours a day, maybe 12, maybe 8 hours, 12 hours a day, 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row. Maybe you're being a baller and 6 days in a row. Okay. We're lifting our arms. We're holding tension. We're emotionally regulating for clients. Emotional regulation. It's a big one. You're probably skipping lunch, but if you've been hanging out with me for a little while, we're not doing that anymore. Maybe we're going long stretches between meals. We're running on coffee. Okay. Then at 7 p.m., you think, I need to go do a hard workout to like get in shape. Absolutely not. Your body's already under so much stress. We do not work a sedentary job. We might not, I love how like TikTok is referring to us as like pink collar jobs, but we're already overstimulated. We're under recovered. We're emotionally exhausted. And so when you stack a high intensity workout on top of an already stressed nervous system, it can actually make it worse. So let's talk about why. Now, I'm not saying like a high intensity workout doesn't have a place. Okay. It just doesn't necessarily A, need to be your default, and B, need to be what you shame yourself over. All right. So how does this work? Over exercising and blood sugar crashes. Okay. So when you're fed, you're under eating, which most of us probably are. I love how everyone's been taught how to diet, but no one's been taught how to maintain our calories. And especially if we're eating smart calories. Like I am in a calorie deficit, and my calorie deficit is more than I've ever been in any, like, it's sustainable kind of calorie deficit. Okay. We're probably over caffeinated, which no judgment here. Emotionally drained. Check, please. Physically fatigued. Yes, present. You're probably the caretaker of your family. Okay. You're probably the emotional regulator, not to mention you're working all day and then you're doing laundry and then you're folding laundry and you're taking care of a home and you're planning meals, pick up the children. Your body is incredible. It's doing incredible things. But then you do all that and then you go crush a super hard workout, or you think that's what you need. Maybe you're not crushing any workouts, but you think that that's what you need to do. Well, your body releases cortisol, which cortisol is a hormone. it has more attention nowadays. So cortisol is a natural or hormone that gives us energy because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do the things. And in the morning, your cortisol is naturally higher to kind of get you up and going, and it should taper off towards the end of the night. Okay. But we don't want like a giant spike, or especially we want to make sure that cortisol stays in a natural rhythm. However, if we go and do a super hard workout, well, then the cortisol raises blood sugar, and that's not necessarily bad, but it's how your body gives you energy to like move. But a super hard workout on top of when you're already running on stress, now we've added more. Okay. So your blood sugar could actually spike, then it could crash really hard. You could get the pantry raccoon syndrome, which is you're eating everything in sight, or the worst, like you feel super wired, but you're like spent. I love it when that happens. You can't sleep the next morning. You're super exhausted. Like all of these are trying to tell your body something. Okay. So you might think I need to do better, but no, your nervous system doesn't feel safe. So exercise isn't the problem. Under fueling and high stress exercises. Okay. So as long as hairdressers are especially vulnerable to this because we move all day long. Okay. The job that we do requires physical stamina, emotional stamina, all kinds of things. So because movement is powerful and it can help balance our blood sugar, we want to utilize it correctly because we don't work a standard job. We're working a very high stress job, lots of movement. Raise your hand if you've heard about strength training. Because again, perimenopause, strength training is more prevalent, I think now, and we're seeing more women doing it because you're working your muscles, but you're not overexerting. That's not the right word. When you strength train, your muscles act like a sponge for glucose. And the more muscles you have, the more glucose your body can absorb effectively. So that's helpful. That's one of the many benefits of strength training. And improves insulin sensitivity. It stabilizes your blood sugar. It reduces the crashes. So strength training isn't so much about aesthetics. It's metabolic support. Strength training also is going to help us keep our bones strong. So the osteoporosis could be knocking on our doors, especially if we've lived in a chronic, like underfueled job. Let's not even talk about all the chemical overload, but the strength training is going to help support our muscles and support our bones for the long haul, which we want that. Okay. So on the flip side of that, we're going to talk about walking because walking is having a moment, especially taking a little walk after a meal they can lower your blood sugar. Okay. Which, if you've ever kind of like carved out or you've ate too much or you're like, okay, I don't feel good. You kind of want to take a nappy. That could be your blood sugar talking to you. So maybe like a quick walk is going to help regulate that. Okay. So walking reduces stress hormones. It improves digestion. It supports circulation in our legs that we've been standing all day. Walking is not like, we don't need to sleep on walking. Okay. It's probably one of the most powerful tools for blood sugar regulation and just overall feeling of good. Because it's not like, oh, I need to work out and then now I need to walk and I got to do a 30-minute thing. Where am I going to find 30 minutes? Like starting with like 10 minutes consistently. So when I started working out last year, I just was like, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes of either walking or yoga. Because I thought like, oh, I'll do yoga, which I like yoga. But when it came down to it, I always picked a walk and I would just walk around my property 10 minutes. I would literally tell my husband, I'm like, I'm making dinner. And is literally as soon as I'm done doing dinner, I'm going on a walk. Because otherwise I wouldn't have done it. So basically in this podcast, yes, I'm talking about like movement for hairdressers and how that helps our overall well-being and our body. But also too, like, how do you fit that in? Which that's like what one-on-one coaching does. But anyway, so walking we're not sleeping on walking. It's not like, oh, that doesn't really matter. It's a very powerful tool for blood sugar regulation. And then there's recovery. Okay. Sleep, mobility, breathing, rest days, water. All of these are going to help our bodies recover. How are we doing on our sleep, fellow hairdressers? Because I know we've been on all day and then we come home and we're like zoned out. So we're going to scroll. Are we scrolling past 10 p.m.? Because sleep is massive for your overall well being. Okay. And like, I can't not sleep now. Like, if you are having a hard time sleeping, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, like, that's when you can talk to your doctor person because, like, if we can't sleep, if you can't go to sleep, if you have trouble staying asleep, those could be cues about your hormones. But it also could be cues that we're like, there's some other things we could do without just going straight to like, oh, I need my hormones checked. Okay. So what does this mean? The hairdresser movement formula. What do we actually need? We do not need more intensity. And I mean, like a good hard workout, I like to do. I mean, my emotions are up and down. If you've hung out with me at all, I'm a really big in, not really. I notice a difference in the weeks of my cycle. And if I'm in my follicular phase, which is like day 1 to 15, day 1 to 13, I will more intensity. I'm all about it. But by day 20 to 30, I'll lift my weights, but I'm going to complain about it. Okay. So I don't want to just say like no intensity, like across the board. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we need to be mindful of how the overall picture. So strength train 2, 3 times a week. Huge. All right. 30 minutes is great. Focus on those big movements. We like a lot of push, pull, squatting, hinging. We carry, work like overall trunk support, shoulder support, leg support, but not so much. It's not about like, getting chiseled abs. I mean, that'd be cool, but that's not the point. The point is to sustain your career, to hold your body. Okay. So you don't need a whole 90 minutes. You don't need to kill yourself. You don't you need to do it consistently. So if 2 times a week is too much, 3 times a week, 30 minutes, that's too much, then do 3 times a week for 10 minutes. Consistency is going to beat the perfect plan every time, right? Because it's not only are you like introducing movements, but you're introducing a new habit into a routine that might not be there. So to have just the task of like, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes consistently, huge. Yes. Good job. Okay. We don't need 90 minutes. We don't need to destroy ourselves. We need consistency. And consistency is going to beat a super hard, a consistent workout done shorter amounts of time, 3 times a week is going to do so much more for your body in the long run than like one hard workout a week. And then you don't do it for 3 weeks. All right. And I have to play a lot of mind games. I'm I'm running a household. I got a couple different gigs going on here. I got the ADHD, lots of mind games. So I get it. Trust me. Okay, so second, walk. Ideally every day, including a walk into your steps. I was always very curious, like how are people getting 10,000 steps a day? And well, I mean, you go on a walk. And if anyone else has an Apple Watch, and I wear my Apple Watch on my left hand and I blow dry. I'm like, I'll hold the dryer in my right hand and I'll use my left hand. And those days I am like, what? Wow, I got 10,000 steps, but I don't think that's accurate. Okay. So 10 to 20 minutes, take a walk after meals if possible. Okay. Around the block, even like pacing, like while you're on your phone. If your salon is in a space where you could take a walk, incorporating that into your schedule, huge, huge for that 3 p.m. clutch. Lots of times, if it's nice enough out, like I'll take a walk, I'll do a lap up and down the driveway because I got my little country salon here in the house, right? Where I have a little walking pad, but if it's nice, I'm outside. I have associated, I do like to be outside taking a walk. It's so much better for my mental health. Okay. So, third, mobility recovery. My favorite thing to do when I get home after a long day is I will put my legs up the wall, which is a yoga posture, but you literally kind of find a wall in a comfortable place and you put your legs up the wall. Number one, that's going to help. That's probably the thing I've done the longest for my overall like body, but it's going to help recirculate our blood flow because we stand all day. So, I mean, your heart is a muscle, but it can only do so much. So the walking helps circulate legs up the wall, stretching your hip flexors, opening your chest. breathing slowly. Okay. Already uptight all day long. Your body needs decompression. And sometimes, like, even doing this mobility and recovery, like as soon as you get home, can be a great way to flip the switch from salon to home. Because what's the point? What's the point of working if we work all the time and we come home and we have nothing left to give? What's the point? It's also February, and I'm asking myself that about everything right now, but I digress. So, mindset. Mindset is this is like a regulation kind of shift, not punishment. A lot of us were taught to move as punishment, or I ate too much. I fell off track. I need to burn this off. I remember I had one owner one time. Gosh, this is in the early 2010s, and they brought donuts in for everybody. And then he's like, a minute on your lips, forever on your hips. Now that I say this out loud, why did this memory come up? But got to burn that off. Notice how I said I had a boss. Anyway, so this mindset's going to keep our nervous system stuck in fight or flight. We don't need that. I mean, sure, I could serve a place, but movement is meant to be a supportive tool. It's not meant to be a reaction to guilt. It's supposed to support regulation, mobility, endurance. It's supposed to feel so good, right? We're not training here for punishment. I am not training for a beach body. I would love that. I do not want to put that much effort into it. Okay. But I do want to be proud of how I look. I look at some women in my life and I just to notice how they kind of shuffle along, you know, if you can see me on video, you're welcome. But they just kind of shuffle. Have you ever noticed like a sweet little old lady and she's just kind of shuffling along? I want to be that. I want to move. I love that I've discovered movement in my 40s, because there's no time like the present, right? So we're training for the longevity of our lives. And behind the chair, I want to be able to get on the floor and play with blocks with my future grandchildren. Heck, I want to get on the floor and work with magnets with my kids because my kids are still kind of young. So those are my motivating factors. My 20s were fun. My 30s, I mean, they were fun. But now is the time to do some work, right? So hairdressers need strong glutes to protect your back, strong shoulders for that repetitive motion. We need a stable core, healthy circulation, balanced hormone. While shredded abs would be fantastic, I just need my abs to support my trunk. Okay. They need to support me as I'm chopping food in my kitchen. That's what I need. Okay. I don't necessarily need to be the fittest person in the gym. Although, no, just kidding. I want sustainable energy. Okay. I want to feel good. And I want to look like, I want to look in the mirror and be like, okay, cool. And noticing how you feel. Like working out, doing movement consistently, you're going to feel awesome. It's a total mindset shift, right? So anyway, okay. So let's recap this. All right. Before you eat before you train, we're not doing this on an empty stomach. We're not going to stack high stress on high stress. If you're already feeling wired, maybe opt for a walk that day to calm your nervous system instead of a high intensity workout. Okay. Or maybe your high intensity workout is at the beginning of your shift, the beginning of your day, not at the end. Okay. We're going to lift heavy-ish. We're going to walk daily. We're going to sleep and we're going to rest. Rest is in this is intentional, not just checking out. Okay. Rest days are productivity. They're productive. Your body has to kind of just recoup. We're not machines, right? We already move all day long. Now we're going to move strategically. Okay. Also, we're going to move to support our energy, not earn our food. All right. No big deal. We got this. Okay. So if you're listening, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe my energy crashes aren't because I'm unmotivated. Maybe my cravings aren't because I lack willpower. Maybe my workouts are not the problem. Maybe my recovery is. That is exactly why I created the blood sugar blueprint for hairdressers. It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? So inside, we're going to go deep into fueling your body properly, movement that supports metabolism, nervous system regulation, not generic fitness advice. It's going to be built for stylists who stand all day long. We pour emotionally into everyone else, and we still want sustainable energy for ourselves. So, if that's something you're ready to move your way into that supports you instead of makes you feel the ick, I put together this blueprint. It's going to be on March 15th, 8 p.m. live on Zoom. And then we'll even get like a 60-minute lesson, 30-minute Q&A. So if this episode helped you, think about joining that. It's $29. Super sustainable. Great information. So I'm excited. Thank you for your attention and time. And I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy your evening.